Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gaming Daddy channel. Today we're going to be talking about Tom Clancy's The Division, but we're going to talk about it from a perspective that is hardly seen. Now, I've been seeing glimpses of this perspective, and that's the perspective of a new player. When I say new player, I'm talking about somebody who is somewhere around the 100 to 150, maybe even 200 hour time frame. Now, for some people that sounds crazy. You're like, what? 100 hours for a new player? It is a looter shooter. It is an RPG. Maybe if you even played the game and you played it only for 100 hours, then that's pretty much all you got. And you probably played the game maybe a few months ago at the tail end when a lot of things had been changed, or you've played on and off and you're probably getting back into the game. Perhaps you even bought the game on a sale and you've had the opportunity to kind of explore all that is in it. So what I would recommend is, if you're a new player like that, in the comment section, go ahead and type out something that makes this game unique to you. Because I want you to do this not just because, we want to just talk about, what new players think, or we kind of really are needing new players to give their opinion. No, not necessarily. I would like for new players to be able to express this, their opinion from that perspective, because it's something that veterans don't see a lot of. A lot of times, we veterans, we hit the point where, a lot of the things that we take for granted in the game is quite fascinating to somebody else who may just come in, for the first time. If you think about it, even Division 1 did not appeal to a lot of people, but the Division 2 actually appealed to them. A lot of Division 2 players that I've met did not play the first game, and even when they did, they're like, oh, to me, that I don't even remember what happened. I'm like, how do you not remember what happened in Division 1? They're like, I don't really remember. I only played it for like a few minutes and then I was done. And I'm like, and you've been blowing hours on the Division 2? Yes, many people are like that. And so what I've seen lately is a lot of my videos where I talk about the Division stuff, even when I was covering the Avengers content and the Ghost of Tsushima content, apparently those videos still went out and people were watching them. And, I was very surprised to see that a lot of the comments that I got were by people who were saying, oh, we got, we just got this game and, this is what this game is doing for us. We're enjoying this aspects of the game. And I was really surprised to see that, because I was reading those comments going, I can't believe that there are like new players that are still coming to this game. And it's quite fascinating to figure out what it is that they see that's making the game appeal to them. So I'll discuss a few things that I've seen in my comments that I'm quite, surprised by. And for a lot of the, the new community that's joining the game, one of the biggest things that they'll tell you is how smooth this game is. Now, this is more importantly seen among the PC player base. A lot of people who play on PC, they've seen this. They've been able to, pretty much, enjoy the extensive aspect of the smooth, gameplay, of the way the game runs on PC, and, how pretty much they enjoy the game from that perspective of design, level design, world design, and all of that stuff. I mean, if you think about it, what else is out there that has this same graphical fidelity when it comes to a realistic open world design that's done in the Division 2? Not a lot. The game is very unique. It does a very good job in creating an open world that is very similar to the real aspect of that open world. So Washington, D.C. And that's basically one of the big deal for a lot of, new players that are coming to the game. The second thing for a lot of other new players that I've seen, and I can definitely categorize this, is many of the new players are just confounded as to what they call the shooting and the mechanics of the game. They are just in awe and enthralled by how the game has, weapons and has a lot of these skills that all do these different things. And not just the mechanics, but the way they work with all the sound design and everything. And one of the really interesting things is, this is kind of the enthrallment that we saw when we first started playing this game a while ago, be it the Division 1 as of 4 years ago, or the Division 2 as of a year ago. And this was kind of how many of us were. We were like, basically children who had just seen an ice cream truck, and most of us were running all over the place and jumping. Some of us just had our jaws hit the ground. And I think, over time, it's just been a weird transition from that place where you just feel like this is the best thing in the entire world, even to now where in some instances the game still frustrates you, if you get what I mean. And looking at these two things, it's really interesting for us as a community to once in a while, go into all these forums where the new players will be there. And if you have the time, kind of just run the game with new players and kind of see what their opinions are and see what it is that they think. One of the really fun things that I do, and many of you know that I do this, is I'll go into, the Division 2's Discord with my second account. I have a separate Discord account, and I have a separate account that I play the Division 2 on, where I have a level 40 character. And once in a while, I'll go in there and I'll match make for like an activity that I've already done 1 gazillion times. And I'll just let some of these newer players just kind of, take the reins. And you could just see that some of them are so excited. They feel like, it's nice to have that knowledge and know about in-depth mechanics in the game. And, for me, it's it's something that I would say, it's definitely interesting just to see them, say, oh, yeah, we know this, we do that. This is how I've done it before. And then I ask, so how many times have you actually done this legendary mission? Oh, I've only done it twice. And you're like, okay, good. And, you remain patient and kind of play the underdog like you don't know what's going on. And, it's really cool to see that. And, I think this is a very neat aspect of the game. And as a content creator who's been in the space for a long time, I'm absolutely glad that I've been reminded of the good aspects of the Division 2. Yes, when there's time for critique and when there's opportunity to, make things better, I'm very, very happy to throw that out there without any caution. And you guys know this. And at the same time, when there are really interesting things and when there are things that can be commended about the game, I want to also be the first to discuss those things. So for those new players who are, joining the community, for those new players who are just, figuring out the game and who are basically just excited about what they're learning, excited about what they're seeing, I just want to say go ahead and continue grinding and enjoying the game. Right now, you're not going to hit a lot of the plateaus because honestly, a lot of things have been cleaned up before you got here. And I think that is to your benefit. Even those of us that have been here, the reason we're, still pushing for better is because we know that the game has a lot of potential. And if you didn't have to see a lot of the issues on the front end, and now you're just experiencing a much more polished version of the Division 2, then, count your blessings. It's one of those things where many of us have done the hard work. We've gone through the issues. We've gone through unforgiving enemy NPCs in multiple patches. We've gone through enemy NPCs being too easy, even all through the point where we have the game, I think, in my opinion, a much more balanced aspect. And to be very honest, the issues that are still troubling the game right now, you can basically count them. Well, if in general terms, you can count them much more specifically than you could a while ago, because a while ago it was like the community was back and forth about the things that felt right, the things that didn't feel really good. But now we have been able to identify it as loot, lack of content, able to identify even specific bugs that do spoil the experience. And one other lingering factor is how the PvP was pretty much marketed and abandoned. And we've been having these discussions for a long time, and I wish we could continue to have them in order to see some benefit. But I don't know what's up with the developers, and I just feel like they should not have bothered to string along the PvP community in this game, saying that they were going to give them some kind of a PvP experience, but in the long run, eventually just abandoning, that aspect of the game. I wouldn't say abandoning, but, not necessarily bolstering it like they focused on PvE. So that's pretty much my video today. At the end of this video, like I said, if you're a new player, tell me one thing or 2 or 3 or 9 things, whatever it is, that really, fascinates you or is interesting to you, or maybe even novel to you about the Division game. I want to read your comments, and I really want to see your perspective coming into the game newly, rather than my, good old perspective where, we've been frustrated many a time and we've dealt with a lot of the issues in the game. I would like to see what you think, in the comment section. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for your time and audience. I appreciate you guys a lot. And I guess I'll see you in another video. Peace.